Too hot.
Now, what is burnout before I go tell you about my experiences in burnout? Burnout's not when you jump in the pool on a super hot day, even though that might be a good idea. That might help you deal with some burnout because it's pretty relaxing, or it's not drinking some like lemonade on a super hot day. This isn't lemonade, this is watermelon electrolytes, but helping me stay hydrated on the super hot day. I think it's like 95 degrees. Burnout, I believe, is when you're like mentally exhausted. I think it could be physically too, especially if you don't like what you're doing physically, like a super hard labor job, and like you're like, I can't do this anymore because my body's physically can't take this, and it's kind of mentally bringing you down. I think burnout is when you have a certain amount of willpower, right? Like pretend you have like this battery bar like on your phone, like you have the 100%, and you're hitting that 100%, hitting that 100%, and your body's like, yo, you can't hit this 100% anymore. Like you're revving a car, you're overheating it. It's not gonna be able to drive. And I feel like I've been going on that push for like months and months and months. And I think at that point I feel like I was doing the same thing, but I wasn't reaching that threshold because I was really passionate about what I was doing. Now, I'll go back into a story of like my first burnout. So my first burnout took place when I was personal training back in like 2016. I was working for this gym for about 4 years. I was doing like front desk work, some group classes, personal training, and I was having real fun doing it. I was building clients. I was making like the most money I was ever making at that time. I was super young, so I'm like, oh, this is great. I could buy food. I could go out like once a week. I'm paying my bills. This is great. And I was barely saving money. Like I think I saved a little bit of money, and then I remember like I was just doing too much and had to scale back. I was like, well, I'm not making money, but I'm happier, so like this is good right now. And then eventually one of the guys at the gym's like, you have to go somewhere else because you're not going to be able to be super successful here. And like, I really respected that because I really looked up to this guy. I was like, all right, like, thanks for letting me know. Switched to another gym, was just doing personal training. I was like, man, I hate when clients cancel. I don't like driving all the way this distance. Like, this is not for me anymore. So I remember having like anxiety. I didn't really want to quit. Eventually I started letting my clients go, quit the job. And I needed something that'll be more of my face, more of my for my values. So I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu. That's what I was passionate at the time. I'm like, I need to do something that's going to help supplement my passion for jiu-jitsu. So I started working at FedEx, which is great. You know, not the ideal job, but my boss was cool. It was a positive environment. It was just us two. I had a good time, learned a lot about shipping, etc. Eventually, same thing. I outgrew that position. I went to a different job and I was doing more social media. I was getting paid a little bit more, was working way less. I was like, this is great. I love this. I got to stick with social media, but there was no really progress in there. I wasn't really getting any like push towards help. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have direction. So eventually I left that and started working more in the jiu-jitsu space. Was working this job, getting paid, I think about the same. I wasn't like a huge difference in pay, but I think I was starting to teach more jiu-jitsu. So I had more income coming in. So I was like, all right, this is good. You know, I'm doing something I have passion about. I'm definitely doing a lot more work, but I'm learning a little bit about jiu-jitsu, how to run a brand and whatnot. Eventually was there for like 2 years. And then they just kind of got weird. They were like making me like, I was working there part-time and they were like trying to get me to work on the weekends and come in more. I'm like, dude, you guys are not paying me enough to do any of this. And like, you guys hired me to do social media and like emails. Like, you guys got to give me more. They told me they were going to help me start a brand. Didn't. So I left that. And then I started my own brand, got another job, didn't like the job. I was like, I'm doing this on my own because I want to focus more on my brand. Did that for like a month. And then eventually my friend hired me to work for a supplement company, Hollow Labs, which is the electrolytes I was taking before. Electrolytes are good, especially when it's like super hot out like this and you need to stay hydrated and you do a lot of sports and hiking and stuff like that. Started working for him. I was like, I never took really supplements a lot as a trainer, but I realized how great they were for me as I got older. So I was like, man, I love this. I'm super passionate about this because I'm helping people out and this is great. Started working there. Started working for a second company through him and I started doing like more video. I got a nicer camera and I'm like, I'm not really a video guy. Like I know how to edit a little bit, but the skill is going to take, you know, some time to develop. So now I started developing this video skill. I got a super nice 4K quality camera, shoots great Sony A7 IV, which is, I made a video about it before. And the video quality got better. I was shooting out of an A6400, which was a good camera at the time. And I was like, all right, I need to upgrade to a nicer one. Got this nice camera. Colors look amazing. Stability is awesome. Got a gimbal. Got the mics, which one of the mics I'm using right now. Everything was going great. And then when I got that new camera, that was like my push. That was my drive. I'm, man, I got this awesome camera. I could do a ton of cool stuff with it. This is great. And then eventually, like, I got to a point where my jiu-jitsu brand, which I said I was running before, started blowing up a little bit more. And then I was like super busy with that. And then also like I'm teaching. So then there's like a bunch of other things I do as well. I teach jiu-jitsu. I do graphic design. I do video. I run social media. I travel around to other gyms and whatnot, promoting my brand. I'm like, man, I'm doing a lot right now. Like I feel the stress coming in, my eyes twitching. I need more rest for my workouts. I'm like, all right, my cortisol levels are way too high. I got to scale back a little bit. So I started scaling back on my workouts and making my jujitsu more efficient. And that worked out. I was like, man, this is what I'm doing is good. I'm resting more. My jujitsu is like, I'm kind of doing a lot of positional training. Like everything's still going well. And then, I'm feeling better. So I'm like, all right, this is fine. More time goes along and I built a better skill. Like my value is much higher than it was like a year ago. So I have a bunch of videographer friends. I'm talking to them and I'm like, dude, like, I'm burning out. Like I'm not feeling good. Like what is going on? He's like, yeah, like, all right, like how much are you charging for this? Like you're putting a lot of effort in and like I don't feel like I'm getting enough like, compensation. And respectfully, like I was given a chance by this company and I was super happy and I've done a ton of work for them and whatnot. But I've outgrown my spot at this company and I was like, you know what? I need to be doing something else. So like the videos I'm making are super high quality. They look great. It's definitely good for like when people look at the Instagram, they're like, oh wow, this company's putting in like, they're paying a lot. But I'm like, oh man, like I'm making these videos. They're not doing like great, like likes wise and views wise, and not really getting the response. I was like, this company needs like a different kind of video, and I am like not really getting compensated for enough. And like we didn't really talk about the changes, and like the videos were great, and they got the message across. But like I was like, this needs a different style, and I'm like, I don't really have the passion or time or compensation for this, and if I can't get paid more, and I wasn't asking to get paid more, I need to do something else. So this last week, Wednesday, last Wednesday, I worked out. I was like, man, I feel, I had a really good workout, worked out super hard, but that was way too much volume. I need a couple days off. I need 2 days off. I taught kids class, took off the gym, didn't go to class. I taught Friday. I don't think I really trained. I'm like, all right, like I still need rest. I'm going to take, the rest of today off on Friday, not do any work for the brand. Like I just need to really just focus on myself. So I chilled out, hung out by the pool, and I was like, all right, I feel good. Like, you know what? Same thing this weekend, Saturday. One of my clients canceled for jiu-jitsu on Sunday. I was like, perfect. Like, I could go out Saturday. I don't have to go back home at any time. I went to Brooklyn, had an awesome time, did a lot of cool things, and I had a great day. I was super happy. This was great. Sunday comes around. I'm like, all right, like, I'll wake up whatever time I want. I don't have any clients to wake up to super early to. I'll make a video. I made a video and then I crashed out. And I was like, whoa, like what is going on? Like I just had 2 super stressful, like stress relieving days. Why is it that I'm crashing out right now from starting a work project? Like this doesn't make any sense. I was like, all right, whatever. Like maybe I'm just having a bad day. I'll do it tomorrow. Next day comes around. Tomorrow hits. Still feeling the same way. I'm like, I just took a couple days off. I'm well rested. I had just awesome day. Like something's not right. Like this doesn't make any sense. Tuesday, go to a dinner, super emotional like dinner. I go to a men's like a men's group thing. Like I don't even know what to call it, but a bunch of guys go, different business guys and whatnot. We have dinner, we talk business, blah blah blah. And some lady came in and she was telling us about like her like tragic story and how she got over, and that got me really emotional. It got me really thinking. I'm like, man, like she was talking about like her husband unfortunately passed away. He was working like a dog, and like the stress was like probably a key factor into like why he was, feeling so bad. So, that got me thinking, and I was like, man, Wednesday hit, same thing. I'm like, all right, like I feel bad. I laid down all day. I was like, this is not good. I'm like, I told my coach, I'm like, hey, I won't be able to make it in. I'm not feeling good. I'm not teaching on Friday either. Like I'll get coverage, got the coverage, and I was like, you know what? I need to get off of social media. I need to start reading books. I need to not listen to podcasts. I need to get off of everything. I need to make my life as simple as possible. I really need to be with my thoughts, because a lot of times I just distract myself with podcasts and music and like other things, jiu-jitsu. I was like, if I get away from everything, I'm going to figure out what's going on. So I started reading The Power of Now. by Eckhart Tolle, and I got enough in. He's talking about like being present because I'm like, I'm not being present right now. I'm worried about the future too much because of all the work projects I'm doing. So I'm worried too much about the past. I'm like thinking about like some things that happened. And I'm like, this is not like, I'm like, whatever. I like I just lost my train of thought. So I started reading this book, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. I've read it before. Great book. It's really helped change my mindset before, like 10 years ago. I was like, I'm going to go read it again now. And he's talking about being present. He's talking about the emotions and like what a lot of this means and kind of like what happens when you're feeling certain emotions and how you should react to them. Like super great book. And he's like, dude, if it's something like your job is bothering you, like you have to make the decision or you're just gonna have to keep dealing with that. So I was like, man, like I'm training jujitsu. I have my own personal brand, my own jujitsu brand. I want to make more content for myself. I'm not doing that for myself. I'm making a ton of content. It's not really fulfilling me. I need to do something that's more like passion driven. So I talked to my like boss last night and we both agreed like, you know what, like this is the direction this is heading in anyway. So like how about August is like your last month and I'm still working for him just like in another capacity, just mainly for the brand. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was relieved. Like I'm telling you, I had a smile on my face. Like, man, I needed some more time for myself. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should get like another job. And I'm like, there's only one other person I would work for that aligns with my goals right now, or like I'd have to like find something else to make some income. But honestly, I think I could do like what I'm doing now with my like brand and just kind of keep growing it that way. And that would make me like much more happy. So what I've learned is like if I outgrew my position at my job, I lost passion for what I was doing and I needed some big kind of change. And I was like, man, like, you know, this was a decent source of income that I had in, but I know I'm going to be able to literally make that income within like a few days of working. So even though that sounds strange, but it is a lot of work for a couple of days of filming and whatnot. And so that was it. I'm leaving something that not necessarily was like the thing that was like destroying me, but something that I was like, hey man, like this is the tip of the iceberg, and like if you keep like hitting it, it's gonna flip over and like it's gonna be a disaster. I don't really know if that was a good analogy, but it sounded like a good analogy. So now I'm going to be able to focus more on like some passion projects I want to do. I want to make more videos on like working out. I've had a background in personal training and fitness for such a long time. So I get to use this awesome camera to make some workout YouTube videos, like how to build like strong legs or how to make more like content about like mental health or like, I don't know, even trimming your beard or taking care of yourself in like different ways as a guy. Cause that's something I'm super passionate about. I love taking care of myself and like dieting and eating right and whatnot. So I'm going to be making more videos on that. I get to focus more on my brand. I get to travel around more and I don't have to like, I'm not making as much content as like I had before for other people. I'm like, man, I have the skill and like, I always want to make content for myself, but I haven't had any time and I haven't even had time to think because all I'm doing is making content, going to the gym, and I'm doing a lot of great things in my life on paper. Like it's great. I'm in the best shape I am in my life that I've ever been in. I am like financially I'm like way more stable than I was in the past. And I'm like, man, everything is great on paper, but internally I'm not feeling like the happiest right now. So what change has to be made? I was like, I have to let something go in order to allow space for something that I want to bring in. So if you're experiencing burnout, I'd recommend, obviously, if you could take some days off and you have the time and availability, take those days off. Really think that's my brother in the background right now. He's waving, but you can't really see him. Take those days off, really try to focus on like your mental health and like write things down if you have to and like what changes you have to make and how you're going to get there. It's different for everyone. It could be more difficult for you. It might be easier for you. Another one I recommend is like staying off of social media. Like for me, like social media is a big part of my like life. So I'm going on Instagram all the time, YouTube, and I was watching all this self-help and stuff like that, which is great. And I was like, I can't be stimulated. I have to get rid of all the stimulus in my life. I have to, besides like reading a book, and I've gone on Instagram like here and there to share memes and whatnot. And I've death scrolled and whatnot. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't completely go off. But as for a work thing, I was like, I gotta shut my brain off, not be influenced, not look at people's stories. I don't care. I need to really focus on myself right now. So going off social media, no YouTube, no podcasts, like, and there's some really helpful ones that are great, but getting off is like, for me, that was like super essential because that allowed me to kind of like really be with my thoughts. And the being with my thoughts was, you know, I think I've gone through like a lot of negative patterns in my mind. I was like, well, I need to be prepared if I'm going to go through my mind. So reading The Power of Now was good because it kind of like, hey, like if you're going through this negative thought, like it's not you. You're not the negative thought. You can't identify with this negative thought. Like that's not you. you have to separate yourself. So just make sure, like, I think reading something like The Power of Now, or maybe if they have the audio version of it, listening to that before getting deep into your thoughts. Maybe that Power Now isn't for everyone, but for me, it worked out, and I thought that was super, super great. So that I was able to really, it kind of feels like I feel like my mind is like a battlefield. Like I have to really be careful with how I enter it, but I feel like reading something like The Power of Now kind of gave me like the sword and shield to kind of battle through my thoughts, because people are like identify with their thoughts. They're like, oh, because I'm thinking negatively, this is my reality. It's like, no, like it's just your mind you're not your mind. Like your mind is a tool, and you have to learn how to control your mind. And I think I've done a much better job in the last couple of days, because I'm happier with the decision of no longer taking out a lot of my work and just reevaluating my work and putting it for me, because that's going to make me happier. That's going to allow me to grow my brand more. And at the same time, now I have a better way of managing my mind. And I'm super happy I went back to reading The Power of Now. It was a book that I got recommended to like 10 years ago, right after my father had passed away. And when I read that, it helped me go through the grieving process of losing my father. And that was really good. So definitely recommend something like that. Learn how to like manage your emotions through like maybe meditation, Power of Now, and then really figure out what is that you want out of life in your mind and how to take those next steps. And if you go through the same thing again, like you can reevaluate in a different way and a different experience. Because reading the book 10 years ago, I felt like I've never read this book before. I feel like it's brand new. And reading it now, because of the experiences I have, are much different, and I feel like I'm much more stable of a person. It's been a totally different experience. And yeah, this is actually the second time I made this video. I didn't really like the way I made it before, and I was like, I'm gonna remake this video. So yeah, just super happy to be back on. Gonna be making a ton more YouTube videos and whatnot. And this last thing, shouts to Hollow Labs, because I'll put a discount code in the description, a little ad at the end, but it's honestly like made such a huge impact on my health, my performance, and going to the gym. And like you can tell the same way I'm talking about like these supplements and like how passionate I am about it, like it's really made a huge impact on my life and just performance recovery and all that. And it's super important not just to keep your mind sharp, but keep your physical sharp, because if you're physically you feel good, it's going to be easier to feel good mentally. Like even when I'm down and out, like I know when I go to the gym for those 2 times a week that I'm weightlifting, I feel much better after I work out, and it kind of brings me to a better headspace after my workout, so I'm able to organize my thoughts a little better. So taking an electrolyte supplement while you work out could be a huge game changer, especially if it allows you to get over those tough training sessions and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have a video topic you guys do want me to cover, put them in the comments below. And if you guys have any tips of dealing with burnout, same thing, put them in the comments below. My name is Rafael Santiago. I can't wait to grow this YouTube channel.